Hi, it's Rabbi Lewis wishing you an early Shabbat shalom. And today's Torah portion, Tisa, is lesson in leadership. And before we get to that lesson, I share with you a little story about one of the best movies of all time. That is Young Frankenstein, featuring Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder. And by the way, an uncredited appearance by the great and recently late Gene Hackman, who had a very funny role as the blind man who welcomes the Frankenstein monster into his home. If you've never seen it, go see it. It's funny. But the most famous scene in that movie, and perhaps one of the funniest scenes of any comedy movie of all time, is the putting on the Ritz scene, when the Frankenstein monster is shown to be a man about town and somebody who could be taught sophistication, sort of demonstrating that anybody can become sophisticated. And they do this wonderful dance routine, Gene Wilder and Peter Boyle as the monster. And it's obviously famous when he goes, "Putting on the Ritz." But the scene almost didn't happen, because when it came down to filming and production, Mel Brooks thought that this scene had no business being in the film, that he just thought that this was going to ruin the tone, it was going to break the film apart, it was never going to happen. And Gene Wilder stood firm, and he truly believed that this was best for the picture, and this was going to help make it a success. And it nearly broke the friendship apart, and nearly stopped production of the film. And finally, Mel Brooks relented and saw that Gene had a vision, and we get the benefit of this wonderful movie and this wonderful scene for that having happened. And the lesson in leadership is that you have to step back and say, am I projecting my personal preference into the matter, or is it what's best for the project? What I think was happening is that Brooks was saying, I don't like this. I don't quite get it yet. And so I'm going to not allow it. While his partner said, I think this is what's best for the overall production. And it was not as much about personal taste, but about what was going to make it work. And in our Torah portion, we have this episode with the golden calf where Moses is handling the tablets that are for the benefit of the whole nation. They've been given by God, the teachings and the instruction that they're going to follow. And when he sees the golden calf, he just smashes them into smithereens. His own personal feeling of anger affected what was going to be this great gift for the entire nation. And he has to learn this humbly, because God calls him back to the mountain to establish new tablets that were going to be like the first. So he recognizes that he can't just allow his own emotional response to be what makes the rest of the nation have to deal with those consequences. And so that's leadership. Sometimes we have to learn it the hard way. As a rabbi, there's a lot of times when I'll say, my personal preference may interfere with what we're doing in a particular service. Back in a previous congregation, there was musicians wanted to do one particular version of the Misha Berach healing prayer that I didn't like. I've always had a preference for the one particular one we always do, the Debbie Friedman melody. And I kind of stood firm for a long time. And then finally, I had to step back and say, is this my preference? Or am I doing what's in the best interest of the whole congregation? And in the end, the musicians had a vision, and they wanted to share a new melody, and it was appreciated. And I had to step back and say, I almost got in my own way. And this happens with bigger decisions too, about service start times, when and where to hold classes, all these things. A lot of times people will say, well, you can do anything you want. You're the rabbi. You just make the decision. But leadership isn't about just doing what you want. It's about the vision, the shared vision, and the shared purpose. And this works on a congregational level. This works on a communal level, a national level. And God willing, if we can achieve all of that leadership, what's in the best interest of all, it works on a global level. Anyhow, wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And by the way, happy Purim.